Okay, I'm going to show you how I devised this method for you to be able to cut out the tissue paper trees, and also I'll show you how to cut out the coyotes and, well, I don't need to show you every animal, but you can get the gist of it. So here is what I thought would help you to cut out and paste down the tissue paper trees. So here is my scene. You should have already gotten all this done. If you didn't, then work on it before you cut out the trees. And I will have templates or stencils, at least a couple on each table of the different sizes of trees and the coyotes, and then I'll have more to come back to the back and get if you want to. But first you have to make sure that that paper is going to fit that tree, and this paper is not large enough, so I need a larger piece of paper. So I have them all cut up into different squares, but let me just cut this one. And you'll notice I have two different sheets. You can do two at the same time. Make sure that you think you need to. I've got a dark green and a lighter green one in there. Kind of hard to tell. But I'm going to fold the template down real good. And then I'm also going to fold the paper in half and score it with my finger against the table. Then I'm going to slip it inside of the stencil and make like a little sandwich out of it. And take a couple of paper clips, paper clip it together so they doesn't slide around in there. And then all you have to do is hold it in one hand and your scissor in the other and cut. So just cut along that line. What I like to do, well, first I like to just cut the excess off. And then I like to go and cut in one direction and keep cutting and keep cutting. Keep cutting into the corner, like that. And then go back over and hold it steady and cut across. You can kind of pull that out of there like that. Cut across. Cut across. Cut across. There. So see, now when you open it up, you've got two trees cut out, kind of stuck together. So start to lay them down and think about how many you need and where you want them to go. I really like that this one is kind of see-through. All right, so you'll get all your trees cut out and arrange them around before you start pasting any of them down. Okay, let's say this is all the trees that I want. I'm going to paste them down, and after I paste them down, I will cut off those edges, trim off those edges, because we don't want any overhang. But yeah, I kind of like that. And remember how we talked about as you get further back, the trees are going to get smaller because things, as they get further away from us, appear to be smaller. So that's why those are in the background behind, and then the forward trees closer to me are overlapping them. So we're going to paste down this furthest back trees first, and this is this is kind of the fussy part. You need to be careful. Take a scrap piece of paper, turn it upside down, take some glue stick, and if your glue stick is not really nice and moist, if it's dried out, don't even attempt it. So test the glue stick and make sure it's got some moisture to it. And you have to go away from yourself. Push it away from yourself and be gentle. Go in one direction, away from yourself. Okay. Now, I think I wanted it right about here. You just put it down and then you just tap it down gently and try to smooth it. If you get a crease like that in it, it's okay. I like the fact that the texture shows that it's tissue paper and it's not something else. I think that's the cool part of it. All right, so I'm going to paste all those down. Okay, so now I have all my trees down, and I'll cut this off later. So now I'm going to think about my animals, and I'd like you each to have an animal. If you don't want a coyote or a wolf, something this large though. I want a large animal in the foreground. So let's say I do want the coyote. I get the stencil for it and I put it down on the black paper. Now if you have trouble holding it down, you can take a paper clip to hold it down. You just have to move the paper clip aside when you get there and draw around it. Cutting between his feet, or his front legs, is kind of hard, and his back legs. So if you don't want to do that, try to get that little sliver out, you can just take a white or a light colored pencil and kind of draw it there, but I'll try to pull that out as best I can. Alright, and it's always just as best you can, you know, doesn't have to be perfect, it's your creation. So now I've got my wolf, and I'd like you to consider putting some decoration on him like I did here. And Angie Pickman has done like a pattern similar to this, and I'll bring that up on the board and so you can kind of look at it and try to do something individual, a pattern down here. It doesn't matter, you know, just triangles, shapes, lines, dots, different colors. Has to be a light colored pencil to show up. So before you do that though, since this is a silhouette, it can go either way. He can be facing that way, or he can be, you know, facing in that way, because, you know, it works either way. That's the neat thing about a silhouette. It's the same on both sides. Now there may have been something that you didn't like about the other side, like your pencil line, you know, got too messy or something. So then maybe pick the completely black side and think about where you want him. And maybe at the same time think about, you know, do I want other animals down here in the foreground? And if so, try those out. I've got some already cut out in the back that you can take and try out, and then cut out your own on either some of this moon paper you could use, kind of similar to the way this is cut out here, the squirrel and the bunny. And then I put an owl in my tree and a bird. So you don't have to do all that much. You know, you could even color in the foreground if you want to. Put some more, you know, notations of grass or ground in there if you want to. So it's up to you. Be as creative as you want.